Hi there, you're watching the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma and today we are hanging out in the library. I should say this evening. You could tell it's dark outside, right? I just wanted to take a few minutes to chat with you all and say thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience in this past 12 months. Mostly we're talking about 2022 because here we are at the beginning of 2023, and this is a great time not only to plan for our future, but to look back on our past and see how much we have accomplished and really celebrate that. So I wanted to do a little bit of that here today. First of all, I wanted to talk about some of our accomplishments, and I wanted to talk about what we can kind of expect from this channel going forward into 2023. So in 2022, we grew our audience by 393 members. So thank you so much for subscribing and being a part of this community. It means a great deal to me and this channel. This is how these channels can grow, is by your subscription. And of course, the way that we are able to reach a bigger audience is by making sure that you're liking and subscribing and you're sharing and you're interacting. And I really want to say thank you so much for everyone who does interact in the comments. It just warms my heart to bolster the community all together. I also am really excited to say that we have over 3,000 watch hours in the last 12 months and almost 50,000 views, which is just huge for a beginner channel. In my opinion anyway. I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited about it, and I know that it's just gonna grow from here. The number one video that was watched was how to create a no-dig garden bed, with over 16,000 views, which is super cool. I think that's it. I just wanted to say thank you so much for interacting with us and for being a part of this community. It's just been a huge blessing. Going forward in 2023, a couple of things are going to shift just a tiny bit. If you've been following me, you know that I like to do things according to the days of the week. And so if you're not familiar with that formula, I'll put the link below, the playlist below. And basically, just to give you in a nutshell, today is Friday. On Fridays in the home, I clean my fridge and my floors. And outside, if it wasn't pouring down rain, you'd probably hear it pouring down rain. Hopefully it's not terribly distracting. I would fertilize. So the days of the week kind of go along with, the title of the task. And I do that with food planning as well. Fridays for me is free day, which means I either make something that I want, whatever that may be, or we go out to eat, or we have leftovers. But for example, on Mondays, I would make Mexican food. It's not like a hard and fast rule. It's just when I'm like, I don't know what to make for dinner. Oh, I can always go back to, it's Monday. Let's just think of a Mexican dish I want to make. Or if it's like a gardening task, like, oh, there's so many things that I needed to do in the garden. It's Monday. It's time to mow the garden or mulch an area, and just kind of helps me pinpoint what I need to do and keep me on task. And I've decided to implement that formula into this YouTube channel. So what that's going to look like going forward, and we're going to kind of ease into it because it's going to be a lot more content. That's the other thing, is I want 6 or 7 days of content consistently. So what I'm looking at is Monday is going to be reserved for Moon Day, and we're going to talk about the moon. We're going to talk about gardening by the moon and lore and beautiful how gardens look in the moon. I'm really going to be focusing a lot more on my gardening by the moon practices, and I'm going to bring you along on my journey for that. So we'll learn together, and it's kind of trial and error. It's been something that's sort of played in my mind for a long, long time, and I've compiled a lot of information about it. Now it's time to implement. Tuesdays will continue to be Tombsday, where we bring new and old, mostly old, where we bring you graveyards and cemeteries on a tour, and we tell stories at the cemeteries about pioneers mostly. And then Wednesdays is going to be Whimsical Wednesdays, and we're going to do a lot more plant crafts because I have been listening to the audience. I did a shout out on YouTube and asked you to respond. I also did a poll on Instagram, and it had overwhelming responses that people want to hear more storytelling and they want to do more plant crafting, meaning creating like fun little projects with plants. Similar to the one that we just did earlier this week, the hanging terrarium in a vase. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I'll have the link below, or just go back a couple videos and you'll see what I'm talking about. Or, doing other kinds of crafts using plants, whether they're live or dried. And then on Thursdays, we will continue, which we've been doing tutorials on Thursdays. So it'll be an in-depth tutorial. But instead of me trying to bring you into the garden every single day and find something to do and film it and all of that, I'm really just going to be focusing on like, what's the big task of this week? And let's share that with you, because what I found last year was I spent a lot of time creating content, editing, and, filming whatever I was doing in the garden and not enjoying my garden as much. And the whole point of having a garden for me is to be out there and enjoying the garden and connecting to nature. And a little bit of that got away from me through filming. So, I still want to share my garden with you, but I'm going to do it in just a little bit of a different format where it's just not every single day, the daily tasks. So we'll be doing tutorials on Thursdays. On Fridays, it's going to be reserved for a series. It's going to be my free day, which is like whatever I want to share with you. Is it another garden task from the week? Is it a series of things that we're going to be doing during that season? This time of year, it's all about houseplants, and it's soon going to be turning into, starting seeds for the garden. And then, who knows, whatever strikes my fancy is what Fridays is going to be about. And on Saturdays, I haven't totally ironed it out, but I kind of want to implement sacred sites. I want to share with you the research that I do on sacred sites around the world. It's something that fascinates me, that nature and man have created these magnificent, beautiful spaces that really lean to worship, and many cultures all throughout the world have different worshiping practices, and they have created these beautiful sacred spaces to worship their god or goddess in, or goddesses and gods in, and so I want to share those sites with you, and a little bit of the storytelling will go into that as well. But that might end up being more of like on a monthly basis rather than every single Saturday. Then on Sunday, we will continue doing garden tours, and that looks like nurseries and public gardens and private gardens, and of course, my own garden. So we have a big palette of fun things to do. Also, the sacred sites will include not just natural and man-made places to worship, but it will also include burial grounds and burial grounds, different types of burial grounds all over the world. That is something that really fascinates me, where there's underwater burial grounds, and there's lava tubes, and I mean, it's just, it goes on and on. It's just amazing. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Egyptian tombs. We'll talk about all kinds of really, and a lot of the burial grounds and sacred sites are, you know, interwoven. So there will be a lot of that. So this channel, you know, I wanted to have a little bit of a balance between the graveyards and the gardens, and you know, marrying those ideas together. So what else did I want to say in this video? Oh, the other thing that I want to mention, because you may notice that I'm like, oh, everything around you looks exactly the same. Your hair looks the same. You have the same clothes on, and you're standing in the same spot. Why is that for 3 videos in a row? It might not be even 3 in a row, but I just want to point out that I really love batching my content. It's something that I do in my life. I'm a canner, so I will can 200 jars of green beans in a short period of time, and then all year long I have green beans to eat and give away. And I really love being able to do that. And I also do that with my monthly meals. I prep a whole bunch of meals and freeze them, especially like one-pot meals, whether they're a casserole or crock pot or Instapot kind of a meal or stir fry. I will prepare everything. So I'm like chopping 10 bell peppers and freezing them, opposed to chopping a bell pepper and 3 days later I'm chopping a bell pepper, and 4 days after that I'm chopping a bell pepper. I don't dig that. So I go shopping once a month. I prep as many food items as I can once a month, and then I don't have to think about dinner so much. And earlier, well, not earlier this year, last year, when we went on a road trip to Eastern Oregon, and I shared with you the ghost towns that we visited pretty, like right after we got back from our trip, which was super fun. But then I also, we visited quite a few cemeteries that weren't in ghost towns while we were on that trip, and I just banked those cemeteries to share with you over a period of 3 months, which was absolutely amazing because it freed me up to be more creative and more time with my family and more time with my friends, and get really focused on how I wanted to do things and, you know, on this channel. And so you might notice that I'm like, everything looks the same, because I might do 2 or 4 projects in a row, and that way I'm spending, you know, 4.5 hours filming 3 or 4 projects, and I've already got all my supplies out. I've already got all the soil out. I've already got, you know, a pile of pots, and I've got my pruners, and I've got, you know, the fertilizer, and I've got gathered all of the plants together, or whatever it is that I'm doing, or, you know, I've got all the hot glue sticks, or, you know, that kind of thing. And then I could just do all the projects, rather than I do a project, I put it all away, I edit the film, I post the film, pull all the same stuff out again, and do a different project with the same stuff. That's just like a lot of wasted time to me. I would rather do all the projects at once, and then edit them all at once, and then schedule them out, and then I have a whole bunch of free time to spend with my husband or on other things that I'd rather be doing. Or not, I shouldn't say I'd rather be doing, but there's so much to experience in life that I don't want to work 24 hours a day. I don't want to even do one kind of hobby 24 hours a day. I want to experience the fullness of life. And so if I'm able to batch my content and get it out to you and share it with you, that is amazing and awesome. And I encourage you to do the same. So I hope that by doing that, it inspires you to, you know, do something like that in your life, whether it's cooking or gardening, or, you know, either keep your tasks really small and short and sweet that you could get done in 30 minutes or less, and have the rest of the day to just enjoy your life, rather than do all the tasks in a day and exhaust yourself, and be worried about it all week long, that you need a vacuum, that you need to do this, that you need to do laundry. just do it every day. And there's, you know, anyway, so that's what you're going to kind of see. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that that's how it's always going to work. I'm sure there will be plenty of times where I just do one single project because that's what's in my joy in the moment. But if I have a block of time where I could really get down on some projects, then that's what I'm gonna do. And I may not change my shirt between projects just so you think it's a different day. That's silly. I'm just being transparent, and you're just gonna know that's what I do. And that way we can all just be real with each other, because I think that's more important than anything. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna bring 2023 into better alignment with my personal life, and hopefully that brings more content to you, to our audience, and to this channel, which means you get to see me more often. Yay! And we get to do more things together. I will still be like totally active in YouTube and in Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me at the Gardens and Graveyards channel. It's the same handle on YouTube as it is on Instagram. I am in Facebook, but it's really just I post in Instagram and it automatically posts in Facebook. So I'm not actually active in Facebook, but you can find me there and like my fan page if you want, which is also the Gardens and Graveyards channel. Yeah, I think that is it for now. There's some other fun, exciting things that I have on the agenda for 2023 for this channel, but they're all in the works and not really happening just yet, so I don't really want to announce them until they're in their, you know, final stages. But we have lots of projects and we have lots of new content coming, and I'm really excited to bring it to all of you. And mostly I am super excited to just continue creating, because it has been such a fun year to just create and to share my creations with all of you, and to explore all of the gardens and graveyards in our area. And I cannot wait to keep traveling and bringing more gardens and more graveyards to this channel, and you know, for myself too. It's always exciting to go check out new spaces. So yeah, that's kind of it. Thank you so much for being a part of this community and watching and liking and subscribing and sharing with your friends. And until the next time and the next video, please keep celebrating your life. Bye.